Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lesly Damai, and today's video is all about how to know if you're a shaman, a magical, mystical initiator. The biggest tell sign is that you have a deep inner knowing, a very, very deep inner knowing of the Maya or illusion of the reality. And you also have a deep desire for a mission or dharma to heal the brainwashing, the disease that is fear, worry, and doubt. As the shaman, you are going to cross between realities, realms, dimensions. So you're awakening to the multidimensional realities beyond just this physical one. You are essentially taking the path to becoming your own shaman. So if you're already exploring different realities, you are initiating yourself different perspectives that most people don't ever have access to. It's not because you're so special and they're not. It's because you are tapping into different parts of you that go beyond whatever programming they can do to you in this reality. There's different parts to discovering your inner shaman and really bringing that part of you and materializing it into this physical reality. I say this quite often. You can have incredible experiences during your inner work, but how often are you doing it? And how is that showing up for you in your day-to-day physical reality? If it's still not manifesting into your physical reality, it could be because you still have a lot more work to do or because you're not doing it consistently enough. So it's almost like wanting to be a scuba diver and all you ever do is just keep the snorkel on for a good hour and then you call it a day. Well, if you want to be a scuba diver, that doesn't really count. You know, you have to put on all the equipment, put on all the gear, get to going, take the plunge, and explore the other dimensions. And so the same thing goes for when you are entering the non-physical spiritual realms and exploring. And so then the next thing is, what are you going to do there? Well, I highly suggest to first go into these realms to cleanse yourself, heal, release the dense energies, becoming in tune with your highest states. You are not only a shaman, you are practicing your magical and mystical abilities. So there's different names for the shaman. You could be a magical practitioner. You can be an intuitive healer. All in all, what kind of wraps the deal up is that you as the shaman have a deep, deep, deep desire, again, to cleanse yourself of the earthly, corrosive programming. And you want to do it for the world around you as well. So you never just do it for yourself, you do it because you know that there's a ripple effect in the reality. And so another sign that you are on the path of becoming the shaman, and I know there's also a term, it's called the solo magician, and so, or the solo magical practitioner. And so that kind of has to go with if you don't study with a coven or with some sort of establishment, you study your magical abilities and mystical abilities on your own, quote unquote, but you never truly are alone or solo. And so that's kind of what this practice is that I'm talking about, is like that solo shaman. It's not, you're not necessarily working with a specific shaman regularly to learn the practices that were handed down to them. You're entering this realm and this state of being on your own, in the sense that you've done all the work and you've seen what type of styles resonate with you. You know already your magical and mystical abilities to a certain degree to where you intuitively know how to approach the situation. And so another sign is that the elementals or the earth spirits will begin to teach you. So again, you're never fully alone. We have this incredible intuitive knowing already of our abilities. And so many people might have memories of past lives where they were already doing this, or it might just come very natural to you. You know, it's a progressive step to your evolution already. It's something that you sense. So nature's going to pick up on that, and it's going to help reveal that. It's going to be there for you during your transmutation processes and during your shedding of old layers. And so a consistent relationship must be established and flowing prior. But the more you honor, show gratitude, and remain pure, the more she will teach you, and therefore you will be able to see more of her power as well. So your inner eye will be illuminated by all of the realms within her. Okay, so we are on a sentient being, Gaia. And some people say that nature is just holographic, it's just a part of the simulation. So Gaia might be quote unquote holographic, where you could say, okay, those are codes, just like everything else in the simulation, but she is sentient. And just like us in her true form, she is immortal and far more powerful than what the physical spectrum allows us to perceive. Far more powerful than her diminished ley lines, her temporary diminished ley lines, or veils that have been placed over her allow most people to witness. So just like us, there will be a day when the veils placed upon by the dark forces will no longer be. So her true form will be fully activated, and all that is false and diminished will be enlivened to its true form. So connect deeply and often. Embrace the bounty. Some people don't feel worthy of that type of bounty. So you can't even get there unless you've already established a deep knowing that you are deserving of all of this healing and all of this immense power. So the inner shaman does not bring in the worry, fear, doubt, lack mindset in order to perceive her bounty and get it on such a deep level. You have to deem yourself worthy of it and more. So we'll get into that as well. So I live in the mountains, and I can feel myself nestled in her bosom. I know exactly where I am on this gigantic titan. We are on a sentient being, just as you may have seen on either like movies, or if you read books about sentient crafts, spacecrafts, right? Or sentient interdimensional crafts being sentient. Okay? Our realm is just like that. We are cruising on a sentient plane, like a field, and it's been hijacked in many ways. So if you don't know where to find the gems in this craft that we're on right now, on this field, in this simulation, of course you're not going to witness it. You're not going to think anything more than, oh, default, it's just holographic. Oh, default, and nothing's really real. Okay, so perhaps you're just not tapped in enough to receive the downloads from what is there already. And it can start to happen all the time once your inner eye is awakened. You will never cease to be amazed and upgraded when she starts to show you really what is beyond the veils that are placed in this reality. And so, just so much is constantly happening and evolving that it's almost like the more BS you hear about what's going on in the outside world, if you haven't created a reality of your own, this could be difficult. But once you do create a reality of your own, and you hear, and it kind of comes up from time to time what's going on in the inverted world, you start to realize that the true organic world is going to speed up its magic as well, because there's always that counterbalance effect. So if you're not tapped into it, you're not going to notice it. And so it may just seem like what's real is just the implanted agendas into the society. So again, be patient and connect regularly. If you come with a pure heart, she will show herself to you. And so for the most part, people having problems really tapping in or staying consistent is because the mind can really be a trap which enslaves the individual to matrix programming, which is essentially an incredibly minute bandwidth from which our five senses perceives the reality to be. Because the amount of electromagnetic spectrum is only 0.005 of what actually exists. Okay, so you ain't seeing nothing. Talk about being trapped in the tiniest fraction of a bandwidth. So it's no wonder why humanity is so easily manipulated. Another thing that comes with tapping into your inner shaman regularly is you're going to start to not only form a very telepathic, organic relationship with the elements, but the whole entire reality. You're going to begin to augment the codes where you're at. And you can do it with the most powerful sources all around in the true earth, which is the sun, fire, the air, water, and the earth. So once you do that and you tap in, you can just think what you want and it will happen around you. This is a practice of aerokinesis, hydrokinesis, telekinesis, solar bending, geobending, all of this stuff. It happens every day in my life. Every single day it happens. There is not one day where it does not. And I see it not just in myself, but in my partner. So we know it's actually happening. We are witnessing this happen at the same time in real time, which is the now moment. And so that took practice. It took practice and it took a knowing. And it took a communion and a true consistent relationship with nature to get there. And that's real. You will soon then be introduced to other tools. And this is when it gets really cool, because essentially to be the shaman, you need to go into these other realms and have a pure heart. So you already need to be purified, because if you're not going to get the green light all the way. And just as if you're practicing magic, it will come back to you in the way that you pushed it out into the ethers. So there's no really getting around it. And there's not to say what's bad and what's good. It's just more, that's just how it works, right? It's the ripple effect. And so it will make its way back to you, whatever that intent is. And if you're still suffering from the fear and the worry and the doubt and the stories, then you're tampered with. You're still not purified, and therefore you're going to just receive it back to you in some facet. And so again, just continue purifying yourself and most importantly, your intentions. So you don't have to be fully healed of everything, because you're coming into these realms to heal yourself more. There just needs to be that purity of being humble and just going in there for the right reasons. There's no need to have like a power struggle with anything. So to do this work is to show up in command and flow. A balance that takes practice, but will naturally occur when you show up with a pure crystalline heart and take full responsibility of your creator abilities and energy alchemization abilities. You have to take control of this because no one else can do it for you. So there is a lack of having to let go of the cord and really wander into the unknown. But you have to have mental mastery enough to where the voices aren't trying to drag you down as you're entering these unknown states. So as soon as you can have those voices diminish and out, and you've commanded them to leave, that's when you can really take the steps and the feats and to do this inner deep healing on the spiritual planes beyond just this physical one in a lot more productive way. So I say productive in the sense that you're seeing results, you're feeling the flows and the ebbs, you're connecting with it all, you're in the driver's seat. And then that's when things can become, amazing, because we're all going to be our own shaman in a different way. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about next, because there's levels to it, and your arsenal of tools will begin to grow as well. And so it's going to come natural. And one of the main ones, I'd say, and one of the most powerful, and I think essential, and I think this is actually something all shamans will encounter, is going to be the medicinal herbs, the plants, the elemental allies. Remember, we show respect and show gratitude, but we come into these practices not bent down on your knees, but standing and proud in your awareness. Proud at your awareness that you're aware of its awareness. It's a commonality here. You're coming together to harmonize. Okay. And just like any relationship too, and this is a good indicator of kind of, if you're still feeling like you're not at that level, a good indicator to start with is your relationships with people around you. And I always say, especially in a romantic relationship with a love, right? With your partner, the one you choose, the one who chose you. And it was like, this is the relationship. This is the divine masculine and the divine feminine coming together. Something that always needs to be going on is each individual is giving it 100% each. Not 80% and not even 50-50. I don't like the 50-50. It's 100 each, because you're coming in whole and integrated. You see? So there's a difference. It's not you're 50% and then now he's 50 or she's 50, so we'll all be 100. That doesn't make sense. If you're both 50, one of you isn't going to be 100. And so I say we come into it 100%, giving it your all, right? And sometimes one of the partners is going to have to give a little more, because maybe the other one is dealing with a shadow. Maybe the other one is going through something. And so then the other one shows up a little bit more. Maybe it's like 120. But then next week, if need be, you show up 120 for them. And so regardless, consistently it's 100 and 100, but sometimes one's going to have to give more than the other. And so go into nature knowing that she's got your back in that same way. If you feel like all you can give back is the gratitude, that's more than enough. She is an excellent way to filter out what needs to be removed and sealed away and banished from not only your energy field, but from the reality totally as well. That's what she's there for. That's one of her superpowers beyond everything else. And that's one of our superpowers too. And so when you work with something else that's sentient, that doesn't have the BS of like working with a therapist or something, right? With all those programs, when you work something that has its original program still there and you plug into it, or you surrender in that energy, it's going to be able to help you in ways that really defies what we have been programmed to believe. And coming back to the medicinal herbs, plants, and elemental allies, you will find your way around this facet. And it's going to be really fun. I've been doing a lot of work with plants and all of this, and not just psychedelic plants, but just herbal plants that you can eat, you can use for tinctures, potions, teas. Even I've been doing a lot of beauty supplies and all of this, and it's been the best way for me to continue doing the work, even when I'm not just, entering altered states. I can bring that into the physical reality as I'm cooking, preparing dinner, or making my batches of tea or tinctures or potions. So you're going to find out, one of the best parts is that it's a lifestyle. So to be your own shaman is who you are most of the time. Okay. And so this plays out beautifully in your life. My partner is a shaman as well. And so we really just are able to bounce off of each other in different ways and teach each other different techniques, or really harmonize together while we are doing our thing. So the next step can also be, if you have the ability to train with somebody that it just feels 110% right and aligned, or, it's just there, that's definitely another route. And you look for a teacher and they will show up. So if I'm not the teacher for you, if someone on YouTube's not the teacher for you, but there's someone you end up meeting, that is a divine connection and is definitely a way for you to tap deeper into these realities. And always continue studying, always continue learning, always continue decoding, reprogramming yourself, broadening that spectrum, increasing our senses and psychic abilities, and our ability to keep pushing past all of whatever has been trying to hold you down, because nothing can hold you down when you take command of and authority over your own consciousness. So I hope this was interesting for you all. I would love to hear what you guys do and different ways you practice. I really could talk about this a lot longer and get into more detail, but I think this is a good way to kind of start the conversation. Coming up, I'll have more videos of myself demonstrating what I do on a day-to-day, and I think that would be really helpful. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe, hit the like button, check out the links in my description, and I will see you very soon.